say 2 days after, or 3 days, or 10 days after, or 20 months after. Say you don't want it, but me tell you no. God! I
can't believe I saw them kill me, baby father. Because he don't want it, and if he didn't want it, then that state says he's wanted, Markamila is wanted. Bring him in the station. I'm gonna carry me and his mother and his family, them and him picking them. 3 kids he have. 10-year-old, 4-year-old, and 5-year-old.
Welcome to Crime Time News and Entertainment with a Buzz. The voice notes, the voices that you just heard are of the baby mother and family member of one Marco Miller, known as Ezzy in the street, said to be the reputed leader of the bedbug gang. He was taken out along with the next person, Alex Phillips, known on the street as Toby. Persons are saying that these are polar opposite individuals. One is a criminal element, notorious, and then the next one is a hard-working person. According to the Popo, both of them confronted the Popo and they ended up in the afterlife. So now, people, when we listen to the voice notes of those individuals, family member and also baby mother, they are saying that him never wanted. They even showed documentation that he was reporting on condition of bail, so therefore the Popo knew exactly where to go for them. But based on information that I am getting, it is said that since about 2023, when he was accused in a case of taking away that man at the JUTC on instruction of Tesha Miller and him bought the case, he was not behaving himself. His name is still being called up as a person of interest, worse, a suspect in many pie up in the Spanish Town era. You know that Spanish Town is one of those volatile communities. And the JSF is kind of trying to rid these people out of the community. So therefore, there is DEATH warrant for many persons, especially notorious gangsters. Ezzy happened to be one of those. So here the family members say him not wanted, and if he was wanted, they would have taken him into the Popo, so therefore he could clear his name. Well, guess what, people? Sometimes your name is too dirty. You have murkied the water as a criminal for too long. And the Popo decided that, listen, that recipe that we once used, meaning taking it to the courts, we are not going to use that because it was counterproductive. It was not effective. So therefore, we are going to resort to new measures. One of those new measures is DEATH warrant. Keep court at the house, controversially under some sorts of pie out, and then we take you out and say you wheel and pop off and take you out. And we take you out, fatally arrested. That is a recipe that seems to work, and that is a recipe that is now being used by the JSF on any sorts of special operation. So like the saying goes, a wise man learns from his mistake, a wiser man learns from the mistakes of others. So therefore, if you are a criminal element, a person of interest, a suspect, a don, any sorts of notorious criminal in any sorts of era, and you have a slight inclination that you might be wanted, you know, say your name and call upon certain things, I will advise you, go in with your lawyer, go in with your pastor, go in with your granny and give in yourself. Do the right thing before the wrong thing, do you? Ezzy knew that he was hot, however, he was still out there playing games. And those silly games came back and haunted him in the worstest way. So people, like I said, in that Popo operation, 2 persons were taken out, Ezzy and Toby. Based on information that I am getting, and people, I cannot swear for anybody, yes, Ezzy is a known notorious gangster. However, Toby was on the polar opposite side of life. He just happens to be at the wrong time, at the wrong place, in a bad company. Don't know the circumstances. We saw the family, specifically his aunts and others, on an interview that was done by TVJ. And she pointed to her Bible and she said, this is a man that goes to church. This is a man that works very hard. Well, people, the video that has been playing in the background is of Toby actually working where you call a lineman. Him cut down tree, him the line for JPS and places like those. Contractor. People like me say, a lot of times people live double life. However, there are circumstances in which the popo get it wrong. The popo went on a mission, and whenever the popo go on any sorts of mission, and persons are there with a targets, they are not going to know how to differentiate who is good and who is bad. So therefore, sometimes the good person get caught up in a bad crossfire and get cross and X sent to the afterlife. Is this the case as it pertains to Toby? Only time will tell. Only God, he knows. Point blank and period. So the next thing that is popping in the news, it is called These Youths Are No Longer Farming. These youths are farming a fool. These youths have now resorted to the chopping, and once the chopping starts, there goes the neighborhood. I am speaking about an incident that took place in a place called Freehill that is in St. Mary, where it is confirmed 2 persons lost their life. 26-year-old Barrington Clark and also 48-year-old Corporal Gary Samuels of the Fire Brigade. Based on the information, it is said that Mr. Clark was home with his common-law wife. Some people running upon the premises, licked down the door, asked some sorts of neighbor. When they were leaving, them sent a couple of coins in the direction of Mr. Clark just for good measures. He was taken out. They then went to the home of Mr. Gary Samuels and they also took him out. Now people, like I said, this is called There Goes the Neighborhood. The neighbors know exactly what is going on. The neighbors facilitate the FUCKRY because whenever these choppers come to the neighborhood, them bring the car, them bring the party, and they support the local businesses. I am going to let you hear a voice note of some of those neighbors speaking exactly what took place and how it is so sad because these people are no sorts of troublemakers. Take a listen, take a look, and then I'll give my piece.
I feel bad about this now because the man knows how to beat up the place. Yeah, the youth they now will not meds, John know. The youth they now do no farming. That's a number one. And that time, I don't like how the youth them are flex. They're not flex right. And the community can't feel good. Good youth them. They don't get no trouble. And I like say them are man in a war business. The man in a deal with them thing there. Never. Especially all to the fireman.
So people, you heard what at least 2 neighbors had to say. They are not really dry snitching. But when you hear them say, the people them nah hold no sorts of meds. They are not doing any sorts of farming because, you know, St. Mary, most rural areas used to be farming. That's the way that most persons make them money. But whenever you go to any of these rural communities lately, the people them look like rap star, the people them look like chopper. So therefore, them start the chopping and the chopping brings the trouble. And the trouble bring the MURDER and the pie up. However, until it hits the doorstep of people that are not troublemaker, that is when persons are going to talk. You even hear the SSP for the area, I think her name is Bobbitt Morgan. She said there are 3 areas in which there's a lot of crimes. Port Maria, Anata Bay, and also a next place. Don't remember right now. So people, me just say, once the chopping starts and you realize and you facilitate it, it is going to reach your doorstep. Such is the case in the case of these 2 individuals losing their lives. So people, like I said, the theme of this video, once the choppers enter, there goes the neighborhood. We're going to remix it, call it Misery Loves Company. So we saw that Inspector Simon McCormick of the Manchester era, they put a ban, a lockdown on any sorts of entertainment events because they realize that the crime is getting out of proportion. So a place that used to be calm and tranquil, very little takeaway, very little pie up, just broke out like sore. I want you to take a look to exactly what this inspector has to say, and then I'll give my piece.
Nobody can be comfortable with 38 murders. 38 murders, and we are not at war. I never ever dreamt I would have seen Manchester with this murder thing. My responsibility is to ensure that the fear of crime is eliminated in the community. But we will get the community back one way or another. Because we are on a crime reduction strategy for Manchester. And we're not going to see the steady increase of murders in Manchester. It's not going to happen. And we're going to get the support of the community. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? You can't predict what is going to happen next. So the police has to act. And people are going to say that it is impacting them negatively. But we need to know what is happening. We need to know who the players are. People come to my office every day wanting to know when they're going to lift it. We can't just tell them that come December, come January. You need to hear what is happening. When people can be put behind bars, investigations carry us to a point where we say we are comfortable. Then we certainly can do this. But at this juncture, it's unfair for people to ask about permits. What are we permitting? A gathering. What gathering causes? So it's not about having frolic and fun to the detriment of other people.
Now, people, if you know anything about Manchester, places like those, a couple of years ago, kind of tranquil, like I said. However, of lately, it is probably one of the worstest places, and that is because all of the choppers are transplanting, leaving from Montego Bay, leaving from Westmoreland, leaving from all of those epicenter of choppery, and they are moving in these people's neighborhood. And because most of these neighborhoods, the business people not used to the amount of money that they were making because the chopper them coming with the ill-gotten means and they are spending, they are partying, it is party and BS. So therefore, they take the good. However, the good comes with the bad. Like they say, there's always the pros and the cons. However, it seems as if the cons is outdoing the pros. So therefore, the people them are lashed out, including the inspector, Mr. McCormick. Point blank and period. So the next thing that is popping in the news, coming out of the files of Dummer and Dummera, WTF. I am speaking about an incident that took place near Francine's Wholesale that is in Clarendon, where it is said, confirmed that a man actually stabbed himself to death. Now, people, we've heard of persons playing with all sorts of tools and it accidentally go off and send them to the afterlife. However, in this case, a man actually used a kitchen utensil and take away his own life. I am speaking about Owen Watson, O.C. Raga, 45-year-old, a laborer of Newton Phase that is in Clarendon. Based on the information, it is said that he had an altercation with the next individual, name not given. During that altercation, it is said that him juke off of the man, and the man must sight and him end up juking himself in one of those vital organs. Needless to say, he was taken to the hospital. He was pronounced. As sad as it sounds, people, this is coming from the files of Dumb and Dummera. WTF. Point blank and period. So the next thing that is popping in the news, it seems as if your favorite social media personality influencers have now become doctors because they are pronouncing people DEAD, left, right, and center. We saw they did the same thing as it pertains to Stitchy, where his wife had to actually call the hospital to see if he actually DIED. Stitchy is alive and kicking as we speak. The same thing can be said about a viral video that was making its round all over social media, where it seems as if a pastor baptized E or baptized her, and then a baptized E was seen as some sorts of dirty water river, murky river, doing some sorts of baptismal protocol that seems to have went woefully wrong. Now people, since then, people are pronounced the baptizee, D-E-A-D, the baptizer, the same thing. However, it seems as if that pastor is actually alive and kicking, just like Stitchy. So people, take a listen, take a look, and then I'll give my piece.
Watch your people. Look how people wicked. You saw Satan wicked. I man this way they say Johnny pastor, you know, not no go so see money alive and well. So me make sure I show you video for show you say.
Bishop,
not go so and the bishop they are yard right now. And the lady where in a baptized they are yard right now. And you see people I send video, I say man Joan and woman Joan. You know what, I'm not even going no further. Yes, when the blessing come, people, the devil always orchestrate propaganda and lie for the real church. You understand? So this a teach, you know, say, I know everything you know see, you know, for judge and bring false accusation against people and pronounce death upon people when I go so. You hear me, man, one love. May we get back to you.
Some people, like I said, after that viral video went out on social media, I see people making all sorts of posts of the picture that you see on the screen. The caption in the picture says, in loving memory of Morris Packerhill. Sunrise, September 25th, 1939. Sunset, September 15, 2024. A legend, a hero. Well, people, here are the facts. This man looks absolutely different from the pastor or the preacher that was seen in the video. This man is from St. Anne. This man actually lost his life. He was sick. He went to America to seek treatment. He eventually lost his life. He was never a man of the cloth, not to say that he was never a Christian or righteous man. He was a businessman. So therefore, one incident happened in a murky river in a Jamaica. The pastor, the deacon, baptizee, baptizer, all are alive. Packer lost his life, unfortunately. So therefore, there is a clarity as it pertains to that. Point blank and period. So the next thing that is popping in the news, it seems as if what they say is true. The good that you do follows you, and the bad that you do, it haunts you. Such is the case of the picture that you see on the screen. This is a man that is said to be one of the right and one of the soldiers of Live Up from Tivoli Gardens. Based on the information, it is said that he was taken out in New York in a place called either New Lots or New Loss, that is on Georgia Avenue to be specific. There were two pictures that were sent to me. Like I said, this is preliminary information. As soon as I get some more details, the picture that I showed you because of YouTube's policy, I can show you. However, the next picture, this man was laying down on his back in some sorts of dark jeans, boxers are show. All of his head, his upper body, his hand, it was all drenched in blood. So like I said, somebody just sent me those pictures. Obviously, there was some sorts of hit. Obviously, there was some sorts of confrontation, some sorts of walk, or drive by. The people them took him out in a very bad way. As soon as I get some more pertinent information as to exactly what transpired, I will let you know ASAP. Point blank and period. So anyways, people, thanks once again for checking out my video. If you appreciate videos like these, please show your appreciation by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to my channel. That is how YouTube promotes videos like these to like-minded, sensible persons like yourself. And last but not least, please subscribe to my next channel. It is called Jamaica Dancehall Source. I'll be pinning the link to that channel in the description of this video. Bless up.